Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Western Canon Challenge, where we are reading the entirety of the Western literary canon out loud. Well, today we are beginning to read the complete poems of Trumbull Stickney. I will be uploading these in no particular order, however, I will be listing and putting timestamps along the way, so anybody searching for a specific poem will be able to find it by looking through the description. So with that said, I will go ahead and start, and our first poem is entitled Dolorosa. Thou hadst thy will. How weary sounds the rain. The firelight wanders in the window pane. Thou art still. Let me a space, now that the daylight dies, lie back against thee, and with upward eyes love thy face. Forgive my fear, but darling, hold me fast. A little while the heartache will be past. Patience, dear. Give me thy hands, and bending closely o'er, lay thy two lips to mine for evermore. Death commands. If thou alone I scarce do sigh. If thou alone I scarce do sigh, because thy spirit stayeth by, think what it were if thou wert near, if thou wert here. Within the sweet-aired mountain town, so far, so strange, so all our own, why makest thou so long delay, so far away? The waters tumbling make a sound of all our joys that fall to ground. The stars shine to the uttermost of what we lost. If someone only happy be for this our narrow destiny, if someone draw a gladder breath out of our death. Separation. Good night, my sweetheart. Spring has come again, and the May moonlight strokes the rainy trees. The sky is fresh and happy. Fireflies rise in its azure edge and wane. Alone I go and lay me down alone, yet on my lips the sweetness of thy breast, yet on thy bosom lay my cheek to rest, and fold my soul forever in thy own. I dreamed, it was very dark. I dreamed, it was very dark, and yet the cliffs were red. I sat me down hard by a watershed, and watched as the current sped, spark after spark, down the dark. The pine trees with their branches hummed a warm midsummer air. That night none of the nightingales were there. A cricket in the grasses rare, close by, benumbed, sometimes thrummed. I leaned over the water's flight, and where the foam threads whirred, out of the cataract I freshly heard the voice of an alighting bird. Come down the night to the light. Leave him now quiet by the way. Leave him now quiet by the way to rest apart. I know what draws him to the dust alway, and churns him in the builder's lime. He has the fright of time. I heard it knocking in his breast a minute since. His human eyes did wince. He stubborned like the massive slaughter beast, and as though a thing o'erwhelmed with sound, stood bolted to the ground. Leave him, for the rust alone can cure, if cure there be, this waif upon the sea. He is one of those who slanted the great door and listened, wretched little lad, to what they said. Art in Man. I heard a strange philosophy which taught the art is man, the artist is his art, that poetry lives freshly in the heart of poets and mechanic in their thought. And then, as oft before some ruined shrine, I have seen the pious man stand awed and pale, So I, to see my heart's ideal trail, in dust and gray and ashes, once divine. Yet came the spring, and o'er the fleetness ran a breath of song, a subtle fire, a life, a voice. Say not the sum of things is man, for like the wave-rolled spiral shell is he, wherein a vaster voice rings rich and rife, a shadowy murmur of the parent sea. Now the lovely moon is wilted. Now the lovely moon is wilted, lost her petals down the sky. Sorrowly the wind goes by. Rosebuds where the branches tilted yield their flowers with a sigh. June, the wonderment of blossom, with her necklace thirsty pearls, with her tearful eyes and girls, changing, ever-changing bosom, with the hot sun in her curls. This is last of all the June nights. Let us softly speak of living, thou whose life was but forgiving. I that in the past moonlight's shadow moved thee with my grieving. Memory saddens our caresses. Feel thy tired heart is cold. All the rich and devious gold warm the shadowy waves thy tresses, surfeits with my kisses old. Long ago our love was broken, habit poisons the embrace. Yet, O changeless in thy grace, speak the word thou oft hast spoken, and the moon was on thy face. Kisses, loved one, all is ashen, through the life that lies before. Drink my glowing wine that o'er hearts grown cold with vanished passion kindles what was wild of yore. I know where all the singers hide. I know where all the singers hide, and music wanders far along, down the steep rock and countryside, a mile of song, and sighs that hazel side mix and grow strong. There tired winds come home to say their tales of acres bowed in flight, and streamless hollows where they lay, their shade and light, all the delicious day, linger and light. Down sudden slips and turns a glitter sings the rivulet. White bubbles float the little burns, and round are set fringes of lucid ferns, fragile and wet. My life shall count by the smile and tear. My life shall count by the smile and tear, by the flash of blue in an eye I know. It's a world of time since June last year, in a timeless world I am living now. 1 year ago, that we should have walked the very path we are walking now, and, tell me, do you remember, talked likewise 1 little year ago. Dear love, what a trick time plays on us, as though the hour and day could give a rule for passage, or all this fuss of the sun be measure how long we live. Life is older than the eons, and younger than any moment, youth. For aught that the earth go gathering seasons, the fact o' the spring is the world's best truth. Once. That day her eyes were deep as night. She had the motion of the rose, the bird that veers across the light, the waterfall that leaps and throws its irised spindrift to the sun. She seemed a wind of music passing on. Alone I saw her that one day stand in the window of my life. Her sudden hand melted away under my lips, and without strife I held her in my arms a while, and drew into my lips her living smile. Now many a day ago and year, since when I dream and lie awake in summer nights to feel her near, and from the heavy darkness break glitters, till all my spirit swims, and her hand hovers on my shaking limbs. If once again before I die I drank the laughter of her mouth, and quenched my fever utterly, I say, and should it cost my youth, 'twere well, for I no more should wait, hammering midnight on the doors of fate. Driftwood. This poem is in 4 sections. 1. Heaven is lovelier than the stars. The sea is fairer than the shore. I've seen beyond the sunset bars a color more. A thought is floating round my mind, and there are words that will not come. Do you believe as I the wind somewhere goes home? 2. In grassy paths my spirit walks. The earth I travel speaks me fair, and still through many voices talks of that deep oneness which we are. I love to see the rolling sod, mixing and changing ever grow to other forms, and this God, and all of God, and all we know. I love to feel the dead dust whirled about my face, to touch the dust, and this large muteness of the world gives me vitality of trust. Here on the earth I lie a space, the quiet earth that knows no strife. I mix with her and take my place in the dark matter that is life. 3. I saw the moon and heard her sing. I saw her sing and heard the moon. For light and song went wing and wing. So many a ship and many a star abroad the sky and sea are two. We know it not for being far. So 2 fair flowers make a whole in corner meadows of the spring. It takes 2 hearts to make a soul. And down the cloudy days they fare, married in beauty as of old, the lovers through the infernal air. 4. Between the sun and moon, a voice, now vague, now clear, do you hear? Says, wander on. And on the hearthstone black, the embers poignantly, do you see? Spell, come back. Your image walks not in my common way. Your image walks not in my common way. Rarely I conjure up your face, recall your language, think to hear your footstep fall in my lost home, or see your eyes' sweet play. Rather you share the life that sees not day, immured within the spirit's deep control, where through the tideless quiets of the soul your kingdom stretches far and far away. For these our joys and griefs are less than we. The deeper truths ask not our daily thought. Their strength is peace. They know that we believe. And whatsoever of sublime there be, reaches and deepens, and at last is wrought into that life we are, but do not live. Pity. An old light smolders in her eye. There, she looks up. They grow and glow like mad laughs of a rhapsody that flickers out in woe. An old charm slips into her sighs, an old grace sings about her hand. She bends, it's musically wise, I cannot understand. Her voice is strident, but a spell of fluted whisper silkens in, the lost heart in a moss-grown bell, faded but sweet, but thin. She bows like waves, waves near the shore. Her hair is in a vulgar knot, lovely, dark hair whose curves deplore something she's well forgot. She must have known the sun, the moon, on heaven's warm throat star jewels strung. It's late. The gaslight flickers on. Young only in years, but young. One might remind her, say the street is dark and vile, now day is done. But would she care? She feared to meet, but there she goes, is gone. Song. A bud has burst on the upper bough. The linnet sang in my heart today. I know where the pale green grasses show by a tiny runnel off the way, and the earth is wet. A cuckoo said in my brain, not yet. I nabbed the fly in a briar rose. The linnet today in my heart did sing. Last night, my head tucked under my wing, I dreamed of a green moon moth that glows through ferns of June. A cuckoo said in my brain, so soon? Goodbye, for the pretty leaves are down. The linnet sang in my heart today. The last gold bit of upland's mown, and most of summer has blown away through the garden gate. A cuckoo said in my brain, too late. Live blindly and upon the hour. Live blindly upon the hour. The Lord, who was the future, died full long ago. Knowledge, which is the past, is folly. Go, poor child, and be not thyself abhorred. Around thine earth sun-winged winds do blow, and planets roll. A meteor draws his sword. The rainbow breaks his seven-colored cord, and the long strips of river silver flow. Awake! Give thyself to the lovely hours. Drinking their lips, catch thou the dream in flight about their fragile hairs, aerial gold. Thou art divine, thou livest, as of old, Apollo springing naked to the light, and all his island shivered into flowers. He said, if in his image I was made. He said, if in his image I was made, I am his equal, and across the land we two should make our journey hand in hand, like brothers, dignified and unafraid. And God that day was walking in the shade, to whom he said, the world is idly planned, we cross each other, let us understand, thou who thou art, I who I am, he said. Darkness came down, and all that night was heard tremendous clamor and the broken roar of things in turmoil driven down before. Then silence. Morning broke and sang a bird. He lay upon the earth, his bosom stirred, but God was seen no longer any more. A glad little rift, so shy. A glad little rift, so shy, back of the bough's black net, shows in the hurrying sky, blue as a violet. There, but it's all blown by. Oh, what a wind today, playing at hide and seek after the pale sun ray that slips from the cloud, and quick it's raining over the way. But I know the winter is done. No one but me, I know. Listen, lovely, my own, where under the melted snow softly we lie alone. Open the darling eyes, breathe of the early air. My heart, if the weather surprise, will shelter thy bud from care. Trust me, darling, arise. You'll say when here again after it all. You'll say when here again after it all, I recollect these things that I devise, like a poor devote in confessional, by saying aloud to make them otherwise. And with the thrust of that terrific guilt grown soft and coward to talk away the stain, not so, the wrong is done, the blood is spilt, I know it, if sense at all be in my brain. 'Tis a sorry homage, yes, and pitiful, after so long to bring before your eyes the frayed and dusty flowers of my soul with such belated show of sacrifice. Age and youth. Spare whitened hair, a withered cheek, a trembling voice, a fireless eye, do these show age's victory? I deem it truer that the man whose frame is now more fragile grown is younger than the child new-born. For he who enters life's long road is old with duties yet to be, and white with long expectancy. Yet as the years roll slowly by, as dross that leaves the vessel bright, his duties fall away. The light of freer manhood makes him young and younger, till those duties past, he stands in perfect youth at last. Thus grow we younger toward the grave, that finds us in our fullness free, and on the brink of which we see, close round us some such light as shone on man and nature's virgin dawn, grey years ago, ere sin was born. This is the end of part 1 of the complete poetry of Trumbull Stickney. Thank you for listening.